From WKGC's Studio A on the campus of Gulf Coast State College, the Military Hour, with your host, Carrie Dieter, on AM 1480, Southport, Panama City, Florida.
All right, we are in the Military Hour this morning. We are ready to kick this off, and I have a very, very special guest with us this morning, and that is Miss Lil Lewis. And I want to start out with saying good morning, Lil, and thank you for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me out here.
Well,
it's exciting to be in WKGC at the college. I feel like a teenager.
So do I, yeah. I'm having more fun than I should, but enjoy it. And you've got me very excited about what's going on this weekend.
We are.
So you start just giving it to us.
We've got a great event at the American Legion, Post 392, down on Oak Avenue in downtown Panama City. We've got 3 music groups playing. We've got silent auction, raffle, going to be selling hot dogs and baked goods by our Women's Club ladies, and all set up to raise money for Canine Companions for Independence with the emphasis on wounded warriors and our local Warrior Beach Retreat.
And the name of your organization, again, is the Gulf Coast Women's.
Yes, sir. Gulf Coast Women's Club.
Gulf Coast Women's Club. And you're doing a great thing here. And tell me how you got involved in this particular one.
Actually, one of our members, Jeannie Carruthers, had been involved with Warrior Beach Retreat since its inception.
Yes, ma'am.
And she passed away unexpectedly last year, and we wanted to do something to honor her. And then the whole state of Florida women's clubs are supporting Canine Companions for Independence for their 2-year President's Project. So came up with this brainstorm that if we combined the two, we would be serving the same group of people and an opportunity to just do more than one of them. We really wanted to do all we could, and we don't have the time or the energy to put on lots of parties every year. So We're just having a big party that will support both of them.
I think that's just a fantastic idea. Now, tell me about the canines and that group that are doing that, because you mentioned earlier.
Canine Companions for Independence they've got several facilities that really facilitate them after the puppies are raised by handlers until they're about 2 years old. One of the big sponsors is Charles Schultz, who does Peanuts. He's got a facility that he and his wife support out in Oceanside, California. Dean Koontz, the author, they have a facility that they sponsor. It's all privately funded, but the animals that they raise are everything from basically seeing eye dogs to some that help children with disabilities. And with our specialty that we're working on now, they have gone into putting the emphasis on wounded warriors, because we've had so many come back with loss of limbs, just needing assistance, and so many times a dog is the perfect thing, because dogs love you unconditionally.
Oh, of course.
They are there. They're trained to be service dogs, but then with the individual that they are matched up with, they're trained for their specific needs. Like if some of the people who have lost both legs and one arm, the dog can pick up things for them. They can open doors. They can get into the refrigerator for them. They can just make their life a lot better. And they also make them more apt to have people converse with them, because most everybody loves a dog.
Oh, yeah.
And so many of the testimonies of these people that have them are like what the dog has meant to them as far as emotional as well as the physical help that they are.
Right, yeah, and you shared some of that with me earlier, and that was a good, you know what, if you don't mind, do that again. Talk about that young lady. We won't give any names, but how it really affected her.
Yes, there was a female vet that was in one of the video that we saw that our speaker, who was a puppy raiser for CCI, brought, and she lost both legs, one arm, and fingers off one hand during IED
Yes, ma'am.
in Afghanistan. And she said when she would go to events that were service-oriented, people were very polite and would, look at her and tell her how much they appreciated her service. She said people talked to me, but they didn't talk with me. And she said when I got my dog, not only did he help me with needs that I had physically, but when I would be at events, she said people stop. They squat down and pet my dog. And when they squat down, they're at my eye level. They look me eye to eye and they talk with me. And she said that she made friends. She had so many more social contacts now than she had had before. She said the dog has literally given me my life back.
Good. See, and there's a big difference in talking with someone and talking to someone. And you're right, a lot of people are kind of obligatory. They'll give the cursory, well, thank you for your service and this and the other thing.
Yeah. Well, they really do care, but they don't really know how to talk about it. And yet with the dog, they'll say, what happened? What happened to you? Where when you're just looking at somebody, and you're standing up over them, you don't know how to get into a conversation. But it just seems to be such a emotional blessing, to these people. As much as it just gives me chill bumps every time I think about how much these people have given up.
Yes, ma'am.
That the least we can do is bust our butts and help raise as much money as we can, because it takes a long time to get these dogs ready for them.
Yep, I understand that. And one of the tragedies, just to me, is it's unacceptable, unfathomable. We're losing so many servicemen and women to suicide. I got a call yesterday about yet another one, 36 years old, and did 4 tours. And it's just... but there's help out there.
Yep. Well, a friend of mine from school's husband is a psychiatrist, and he actually does some volunteer work with vets. And when I was mentioning this to them at one of our school get-togethers, he said that so far the vets that have gotten dogs, that they have not lost a single one of them to a suicide. And they have seen no signs whatsoever of abuse to the animals. So just knowing that, because we all know how a dog is, and even if you're upset, they'll still curl up with you. And they specially train these that are needed emotionally to come to the veteran if they are freaking out or acting up where they've already run off their family, friends, wives, and stuff like that.
Right.
The dog just keeps being there. Mm-hmm. And it really helps them make that turn to come back to life.
And that's true. It's a true statement. Because I think it's that unconditional love that a dog shows you.
Absolutely.
And there's just a connection between man and dog and woman and dog.
Yeah.
Just love.
And people just can't, on a one-on-one, a human to a human, when somebody's screaming at you and being ugly, it's hard to forgive them. But the dog, they're also trained to listen to that and know that that's a call for help, not a call to be ugly. That's one of the reasons they monitor the dog's treatment as much as what it's doing for the vet. But they don't seem to see any signs of the dogs ever being hurt.
Yeah, and I take issue with people that, and there are people that are doing this, and it's a shame, just a total shame. Also, you'll see somebody that's got a pocket poodle, and they're taking it in establishments, and they say it's a service dog, and they have paperwork on the dog where it's been trained. Well, no. They invite you to pet the dogs. No. You don't pet service animals. They are working dogs. And one that is trained, the owner will let you know real quickly, do not pet my dog. The dog's working. So I take issue with those people that are trying to take advantage of something just so they can have their little pocket poodle in the restaurant or whatever. Yeah. So shame on them.
Isn't that the truth? The lady that came, the puppy trainer that came, brought a 4-month-old golden retriever that she's working with. And we were cautioned ahead of time not to come up and pet the dog because he was in training. Mm-hmm. For over 2 hours, that was the most well-behaved animal I've ever seen.
They always
He
are.
sat next to her. I just was surprised at that age, though, how good he was. But at the end of the meeting, she finally, took off. He had a special little harness on, and she loosened that one up and left on his regular harness, and said okay to him or something. And so she told the ladies then they could pet him, and then there was tail wagging and jiggling around. But he had sat calmly, by her side, and all he did when he wanted to go outside for a few moments was to rub his nose up and down her leg. The dog goes to work with her every day of her life. She works for a big insurance company over in Pensacola. And when they hired her, she said she came with dog, and they're like, oh, okay. So when she showed up with the puppy, they're like, oh, you really do come with a dog. But they are trained in areas like that to be social, but they are not, like you said, they're not supposed to be handled. And if they are, that's usually a sign that either the trainer is misbehaving or they're telling a fib altogether.
Yeah, well, there's a bogus industry that's been created too. You can go on the internet and buy credentials for your dog, and you can buy little sweaters that say service dog. And all that. Yeah, it's terrible, just terrible.
I had no idea of that.
Yeah, that should be shut down. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but that's just
it is pitiful.
Fraud.
Yeah, because they need every dollar they can get to buy more dogs,
right.
To raise more dogs. The facility where they raise them out there, they and I say interbreed them because you don't want to keep breeding the same dogs together because that weakens them. But they breed them to be very strong animals, both emotionally and physically, because they've got to be strong. A lot of these dogs actually can and are set up to, like when some of the guys have lost both legs, they get in their wheelchair usually to go back to their truck because it's a long way to walk sometimes, and sometimes they're in a lot of pain. So if they get too tired going back, pushing their wheelchair, a lot of them have got a special little harness that the dog, when on command, the dog will back up to them and they can hook that other side up and they'll pull them like a little cart till they get back to their car
it's
to
amazing.
Give them a chance to rest up so they can then load their wheelchair and stuff. But yeah, it's just a shame because they can't be, it takes 5 or 6 years to get them ready. And then about a year to actually acclimate them with the person they're going to be with. So there's not enough to go around for all the need there.
Of course, yeah, it can always.
So to have somebody wasting that on their own pocket, that's pretty merciless.
Yeah, that one really rubs me more than wrong. So, and I've called people out. My wife says, one day somebody's going to hurt you. I said, I've been hurt before.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what they're doing's wrong. Because there are people that need that help.
It is.
And
like
they're
I
just
say,
availing themselves to make them feel good.
Our veterans have given up so much to make our lifestyle be what we have here in the United States of America, and to not have the 100% unconditional support of everybody that possibly will and can is just unthinkable anyway. And then to have somebody
exactly
be fraudulent with it, that's worse than almost being a politician.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. It's clean house time, but we won't go into any politics because we don't do that. But in any event, I am excited about this taking place. Now, give us the dates, give us the time, and I want to hear all the music. It's going to be
all right. It's this Saturday. It's October the 10th, starts at noon till 6 p.m. We've got silent auctions, items, some really fun things, too. We even have a shot ski with Harley-Davidson stickers on it and all that. And if you don't know what a shot ski is, come and find out, because I'm buying the first round. We've got all kind of wonderful wine baskets, Jack Daniel baskets. We've got a lot of neat things. We also have a lot of raffle items that will be there. We'll be selling raffle tickets. There's no charge to come in, but you'll be approached to buy some raffle tickets for sure. We're going to be selling hot dogs and baked goods done by our Women's Club ladies, which if you're not even hungry, you'll probably want some dessert. But we've got 3 music groups coming to entertain. It's starting at noon. We've got the St. Andrew Ukulele Group, and they're high energy, fun.
Big fun.
Oh, yes. And they make you just feel good all over. And then from 2 to 4, it's a Parrot Head friend of mine, Jeff Brewer, and the Camaros. And then at 4 to 6 are the Love Tones that are a Motown group. Yeah. And they are just kick butt. Yeah. I mean, they sound like you just turned on the studio sound in here.
If you haven't heard them, you need to come out and hear them. Now, I'm not disparaging any other groups, but they are really, really good with what they do. You know,
they are.
Their music.
All three of these groups are they'll make you feel good just being there. So that way you can hang around and enjoy the music and, go back and check on your bid items and see how you're doing on that and just hang out with us and enjoy the day. But on top of that, all three of these music groups are donating their services. They'll have a tip jar, so if anybody wants to tip them, feel free.
Sure.
But when I asked how much, so I would know, if we could afford them, everybody unconditionally said there's no charge for what you're doing.
Heart for veterans in this community is huge.
It is huge. And that's one of the reasons that besides the CCI that we also are supporting the Warrior Beach Retreat, because I love what Bay County is able to show our veterans, that what we're all about here. And the heart and soul of Bay County comes out and stands on that road and makes us all proud.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely makes us all proud. So I've been able to participate in every one of them. And if the good Lord lets me live, I always tell Linda Cope, if I'm breathing, I'm there. So, that's just how it is.
Well, the very first one, I was on my way to a meeting and didn't really know exactly what was happening. And it was at the beach, and I live in town. And driving across the bridge, there were all these flags held by so many of our community. And I literally just got chill bumps. I didn't even know what it was all about. And I'm like, oh, my God, you don't see that many people. Hardly ever, and especially not that much on the news, and just really supporting America and our veterans. And, of course, that night on the news, I figured out what it was. But I was a little slow and behind things, but I had a commitment that day. So it's on a Thursday, and I had a board meeting. So,
right.
But ever since then, I've made it a point to know what was happening with that. And like I say, one of our favorite members who passed away last year, Jeannie Carruthers, had been involved since day one. And so, I knew a little, I'd heard about it, but I wasn't in that part of our group. We have some different sections that do different things in the community. So I started paying a lot more attention to Warrior Beach Retreat after that. And I've been real proud of my town, and I'm a native of this area, so I am just real proud of Bay County.
Well, I like to meet natives because there aren't, most of us are transplants. But, well, hallelujah, now I know two natives.
Woohoo! Hey, they do exist.
I see that.
They're not just figments of your imagination.
Well, I've got one of those warped, weird imaginations anyway, but in any event. Now, you mentioned something earlier, and I may be going down another rabbit hole here, but something going on with children that you do in the women's club, was that right?
Not with the women's club. That's an event that's next April. It's actually with the Parrot Head Club that we support Children's Home Society with a big 3-day beach party.
That's what perked my ears when I heard about the kids. We have a child welfare program that we do within the 48. So,
well, we started off and bought a sofa set that was like a sectional for them for their Christmas thing one year. A board member knew our president at the time, and so we donated a whopping $900, and everybody got excited about it when the kids were thanking us for their new furniture. They have a group house for the teens, and the next time something came up, and when we first started our Parrot Head Rendezvous, we did that, and we went from raising about $1,000 to up to $15,000 when I took over. And the past 4 years, we have raised over $30,000 a year with a beach party for not quite spring breakers. Locally.
Wow, that's amazing.
But we do. I mean, we have parrot heads that come in from, like 30 states. We had 46 different parrot head clubs support it last year, and they come in from everywhere. We have about 600 people come down and hang out on the beach and party with a purpose. So,
yeah,
and I'm getting off.
Yeah,
there again, I'm getting off my cue. But
it's all good. It's all good.
It's a beautiful event too, and so everybody just watch out for billboards and signs and promos for that in April. It's the April 22nd, 23rd, 24th. of 2016.
Sounds good to me. If I'm breathing, I'm going to be there too.
Woo! Hey,
sounds like fun.
It is fun. It is fun. And this one, I'm just excited because everybody is looking for a lot of fun this Saturday, and the weather's going to be perfect. So, everybody come out and support us and support the military because,
yes,
like I say, 100% of the profits are going to these. And if anybody really, we had a question this morning online, could you just, if you wanted to just make a donation, would we take it? And would we specifically give it to one or the other of these groups? With a notation on your check, we will certainly add that more to one or the other at your preference. But yes, we will take donations, cash, check, or even credit cards. So we would be happy to take donations.
Well, good deal. So, yeah, but the initial, the way you present or set it up was 50-50.
50-50.
But if somebody wants to mark,
earmark it, then we'll add
other.
it. Yeah, we'll add it specifically. Our treasurer's real good about figuring things out. She's
terrific. Well, that's good.
Super sharp.
Yeah, because people want their money to go, where they want it to go.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean, if somebody loves one more than the other, we just love both of them so much we couldn't make up our mind, so we're just double dipping.
Split it. Yep, split it. I understand that. That's fabulous. I got to ask you a question about the food too. You mentioned hot dogs. Is there going to be a variety of hot dogs like sauerkraut, chili, or is it going to be
all the
really?
above? Yep, regular hot dogs, but we've got chili. One of our members she likes sauerkraut, so she suggested that. Onions, cheese, you can doctor them up to suit your preference when you buy it. They're going to be $3 each, and you will not believe all the cakes, cookies, and cupcakes that are coming in, brownies, and all of them homemade.
Homemade, yeah. There you go. That's the good stuff.
I get hungry. I need something to go with my coffee right now.
I hear you. I understand that. That is just fantastic. One more time. Give them the date. Give them the time.
Okay.
Our listeners need to know.
Yes, sir.
Because they need to show up in droves, because you won't run into a better bunch of folks at a post, an American Legion Post 392. I claim as my own post, but really, really, and not because my home post, just really good, caring people there.
Yeah.
And we have a little motto, family matters, be a part of ours. So,
well, actually, I am a part of yours too, because I just joined the auxiliary. My dad was a Navy boy during World War II, and when I got to finding out about your organization and then actually asked them about helping support our group with this, I actually decided I just had to be a part of it too. So I am part of your family, and it's going to be this Saturday, October the 10th, at the Post 392 American Legion, and it's at 535 Oak Avenue.
Correct.
For anybody that's not really familiar, it is right down at the Panama City Library area. Mm-hmm. If you go where the Chamber of Commerce building is, that's Oak Avenue that would run right into their little street right there. It's sort of a little pie-shaped thing down there. But it's right between 5th and 6th Street. If you're coming in off Beach Drive on Oak, you can't miss it either way.
That's right.
But it starts at noon, lasts till 6 p.m., and we'll be collecting money for silent auction after that. So come out and play with us. And like I say, the music is going to be phenomenal. You will definitely be entertained. You'll be glad you came out.
Yep,
and you'll be supporting a good cause, too.
Yep, that is for sure. And you will have fun, and don't be surprised if it doesn't go past 6 o'clock, because it could happen. Usually does down there. That's
what I've heard about the Love Tones, that they do have a tendency to get people to want to hang around and keep playing with them.
That's
so
for sure.
I'm really looking forward to that.
And hats off to Commander Joe Keys down there, great guy, and his wife Liz, wonderful lady. But I mean, I could go on and don't anybody get mad at me for not naming you, but I mean, they're just really, really a wealth of good people down there, and their hearts set right for community and for veteran service first. So.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud to be working with the group. I've been amazed at the enthusiasm. In fact, I talked to Joe yesterday and asked him, did I need to hire some people to come help me put things up? And he said, nope, they had it covered.
Well, that's good.
Yep,
yeah.
I was just like, yay, because we really are a bunch of females that sometimes have to have a little help. And he said he had peeps that would help. So thank you, Joe Keys.
Yeah, peeps are good. Well, it's funny, and I'll just briefly say this. When I transitioned here after throat cancer, blah, 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 I wasn't quite sure where I was going to live, what I was going to do, so I kind of bounced around a couple places here until I finally said, you know what, yeah, no, I'm going to be here. They moved me, the American Legion family moved me 3 times.
Wow.
I just said, hey, I'm going to move again. I need some help. Boom. I'm talking about 2-3 hours time, packed up, moved, gone into the new place. So, yeah, there's peeps.
Yeah,
and
that's what, like you say, that's what family does.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It
great.
It
just
is a
great
beautiful
post.
thing, yeah.
Yep. Really,
Yeah,
really
the
is.
spirit down there, when I walked in, everybody's been so courteous and friendly to me, you know, with being the one of the newest kids on the block. And I just can't say enough about the cooperation, and just the facility is awesome too. I mean, I know all your members know what it is, but everybody that I've had down there and go by, they're like, what a great place for a party. So the outdoor area is phenomenal, and luckily we're going to get to be 100% outside with this beautiful weather that's been blessed on us for sure.
And I'm not the only scrounge hound around. A lot of the members there scrounged around, and just about everything in that building and grounds has been donated.
Yes.
So a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and labor from a lot of people. I won't even try to mention names, but lots of folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really.
Well, that's what makes it feel so good. Then it's all that, all that love and donations. But it really does. People don't know until they start doing, you know, work in their community and donating their time. The gift that you get back from working with the community and seeing the pleasure that you're able to do for other people who were not having any before. You know, it just makes you feel good. And that, like we were talking about at our age, feeling good, community service is a good place to be with it, and then the rest of it sort of falls in place.
Yeah, pretty simple with me. Not only me, but a lot of veterans, men and women. We want to finish out well. We just want to give what we can when we can, and help where we can, and just keep on keeping on. So, if I'm breathing,
I certainly
I'm there.
see a lot of that, and that just it makes you feel good when you see. And like I say, Bay County is a beautiful place to live for people who
my goodness,
who care. I mean, we really do have such a caring community.
Yep. And I would be remiss if I didn't do this, because I don't do it often enough. I can't thank Gulf Coast State College enough for affording me the opportunity to be here in some small way to try and help get the word out about the community and about veteran service. So I'm very thankful that they allow me to do the military hour. And again, we don't pick and choose just this post or that post. We support them all. And that's right, and that's what we should all do.
It is
support
phenomenal.
one another, you know, whether it's AMVETS, VFW, American Legion. When the gears mesh, everybody profits.
Gulf Coast really is. I mean, it's dear to my heart because my daughters came to college out here when they got out of high school.
Terrific.
So love this place, and a lot of the neat, fun things that they support in so many venues in the community too. But they are a phenomenal part of our community as well.
And a lot of volunteerism.
And I'm glad they let you do what you do too.
Oh yeah, and you know, I'm an old man having more fun than I should. That is just a given, period. And I enjoy it. I've met many wonderful people, and I'm truly blessed and thankful.
Yeah.
So,
I can imagine you are.
Yeah. I can't wait.
It's like a good job.
I can't wait to see you out at the Parrot Head thing. I'll take my wife out there and we sit in the sand.
Please do. I'll introduce you to some other crazy people.
Yeah, I'm going to make it Saturday down to 392, but I've got another little thing I have to take care of that we do annually.
Like I say, I'd be tickled to get to meet you down there and introduce you to some of my other friends that around the world now. We run into each other at the darndest places, and like we said, we have friends in common, but we've never met till now. So nice to be able to introduce you to some of my others that'll be meeting you down the road, I'm sure.
I look forward to that. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
And I will always introduce you to anybody and everybody that I know, because that's just how that networking thing helps everybody help each other in some small way.
It does.
So, yeah, it's a good
There again,
thing.
It brings back that family thing that you were talking about.
Absolutely does all of that. So tell me, if you don't mind, about the Gulf Coast Women's Club. How did you get involved with that? I know you told me you were president.
Well, I'm president now, but a friend of mine actually at a charity event a few years ago said you ought to come join us. We do a lot of fun things, and we have some fundraisers like this.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody that I had known from school days anyway, and so I thought, well, with her on board, I couldn't be going too wrong. So I went, sat in on a meeting, and heard what they were doing, and went, this sounds like place that I would enjoy being. And not only have other friends of mine joined the club, but I have met new friends through the club because it's just a terrific organization full of women who really, there again, care about Bay County and our county family. So it's just it's just some of those wonderful things that happen that with eating chocolate, Death by Chocolate got me into this, and here goes the rest of the story.
There you go. Who doesn't like chocolate?
There
right?
you go. That's what got me in here.
That'll make a friend.
There you go.
Even when we were kids, can I have a bite of that Hershey bar? So, oh yeah, definitely. Now y'all don't have no cat fights, do you?
No, sir, we really don't. No, we don't.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yep.
We don't have them either. Everybody gets along.
There's misunderstanding sometimes, but nothing, nothing that doesn't, you put that on the back burner no matter what.
Yep.
You just go on to the positive thing and leave the trash behind. So.
That's it. Yeah, sit down eye to eye, talk it out. If you can't fix it that way, well, then, like you say, you just move on and let's do what's right. Take the high road and keep moving forward.
Plan B or C.
There you go. That's exactly right. I'll tell you what, like I said, I'm having more fun here than I know. You got another piece of paper here? I like what that says right there. She's got something here that says 1 team, 2 heroes. Mm-hmm. And that's for the
and
K9,
that's one of the reasons we chose the name of this is Salute to Service, because it's service dogs working with service people. And with this, it's, the team, the 2 heroes, the dog and the human hero.
Yes, ma'am.
Every one of those people, heroes that have a dog, will tell you that dog is their hero.
Yeah, and I know, used to myself, because I always had pets. I don't have one right now because I travel a lot. But I've got friends that, it's kind of funny, the dog dictates their life, the pets do, and I understand that because you love them, I think sometimes better than your own kids. But and of course, when you lose one of those dear pets, that's almost as bad as losing a child. But a lot of folks live for their pets, and that's a good thing because it's good for you. It's good for your health.
It's hard sometimes to go off and leave them. I actually get to babysit my grand dogs occasionally when my kids are going someplace that, I mean, they've got a motorhome and they take them with them most of the time, but sometimes they can't, or they're going to be someplace that they're going to have to spend more time getting back and forth to take the dog out than would be fun. So then they visit with me. But, I don't have them myself because of some of the issues you were just talking about. I travel too much. I have family out in San Diego, and my youngest grandsons live out there. So guess where most of my spare time goes?
I understand that. Yep.
They've got to know who I am, no matter whether they don't live next door like some of my others did. So.
Yep. Well, yeah, I love travel, love the grandbabies. You got to see them. So,
it is. Like I say, it is just so beautiful to see people with their dogs when they're well trained and well mannered and well loved. It makes your heart feel good.
And we're double blessed on that vein where we live because so many neighbors have dogs, and we live out by a little park, and they like to bring their dogs out there. So guess what? Yeah. We get to pet and play with everybody else's dogs.
Yeah. So you get your loving in with those others, and you don't have to leave them behind when you're traveling.
Yeah. I think when we first moved there, some people were wondering, why is my dog going over to those 2 people all the time? I guess they could tell we kind of like them.
Yes.
Like them a lot.
And they do. They respond well when you care about them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Call my wife my critter girl. Yeah,
Aww.
She's my critter girl. If there's a turtle in the road, we're stopping.
Yeah.
I'm like, honey, we're going to get killed with all the traffic. I'm moving that turtle. Okay, honey. So so we do. We have a heart for humans and pets. So.
Well, they're part of our world, and they do give a lot of pleasure to a lot of people. So
that they do.
And with this part, they save lives. So
of course, yeah.
It's just a win-win.
Way back in my generation, they were just all called, even though they were service dogs, they were just called C&I dogs because you'd see blind folks with the dog. And that may have been, I don't know, that may have been the main thrust of what they were for.
In the beginning, it was they just taught them sort of one avenue of use, but now they train them for so much because a lot of even some of the vets that had done some of the testimony that did lose their sight. But the dogs do that, but, they don't just walk them across the street anymore.
Right.
They really do. They help them answer the door. They help them get stuff up off the floor when they drop it and can't see it. I mean, they do so much more than they did because, the trainers have found out that it's almost unlimited what these animals can do. They had one child on there that was probably 10 or 11 years old that had a type of palsy. And he's recovering some now, but he couldn't take a bath alone because he might drown in the tub because of his inability to manage himself. So he had this little harness on so that if he slips in the tub, his dog now stays in the bathroom with him. So as a teenage boy, he doesn't have to have his mom sitting on the side of the tub with him. He's also, through therapy, walking a little with a walker, but couldn't go out by himself because if he fell, he might not be able to get up. The dog's trained to help him get up. And it's just amazing. It showed him at the end of the video, this little boy and his dog, which, who doesn't? Every little boy loves to go for a walk with his dog. So this kid with his walker is walking down the road with his dog with the family knowing that if he goes down, that dog's right there to help him pick his hand up, put it on the walker, get the walker close enough to him he could get it, whatever's needed to get that little boy back up and him feel a little bit of independence
I was
again.
Just getting ready to say that very thing. That gives him independence. He doesn't have to have mom and dad around all the time. Terrific.
So even, from the kids, from the youngest to the oldest, I mean, they just give life back to them.
Now, I'm going to say something some folks probably won't like, but you're like the rest of us. You're out in public. If you can train an animal who is very intelligent, animals are, and human beings are more intelligent. If you can train an animal to do and behave and learn, you can train your kids to be that too. So wake up, mom and dad. It takes you teaching the kids, not just the schools. So anyway, all right, I'm done. Somebody probably beat me up in the parking lot, but
I doubt that. But it does go both ways. People just, it's respect for your children and your dog to make sure they know how to behave properly because it's safety for both of them. If your children don't know how to behave, if your kid didn't know that it was dangerous to run across the street, what would happen to them? So
they would die.
With so many parts of our lives, if we don't train our children to know the dangers and what to do to respect other people, then it doesn't come back to them.
Yeah, and I always like to challenge people to experience something new, learn something new. And my wife says I'm kind of harsh sometimes, and I'm sure I heard this somewhere sometime, there are only two kind of people that won't learn. One is a fool, and the other one's a dead person. One won't, and one can't. So life is a lifelong learning process.
Well, I truly do. From just the silliest little thing, when I learn my one little lesson of the day, I know, I know it hasn't been a loss.
There you go. Exactly right. That's for sure. And I certainly don't have a corner on the market on brains. I know a lot of people tell you I'm kind of off the wall, a little bit weird, but hey, I am who I am. And what you see is what you get. I'm a WYSIWYG, so.
They thought Einstein was weird too. So there you go.
Yeah, they think he was very bright.
I think Bill Gates and some of those others were considered weirdos in their time frame. So we got to have those weirdos to inspire the rest of us.
Well, I don't think I've ever inspired anybody, but anyway.
I don't know. It sounds like you might have.
No. But
just with this,
doing this kind of support for veterans and even the children you talked about with the parrot heads, you never know how you're going to help or what even the smallest of things sometimes can change somebody's whole life. So do it. I mean, that's all there is to just do it. Yeah. Get involved. You'd be surprised. You never know how you touch someone. You may not know it for years later until they come tap you on the shoulder and they go, hey, do you remember when you did and you did. Well, that completely changed my life. Those are the most humbling experiences. And I hope everybody gets to have some of those. I really do.
I do too.
Get involved.
And like I say, it just all of these people that have talked about what their animal has meant to them have just really inspired me to, make this one of those kind of things that you want to do your very best to raise money on and on and on to make sure that these guys get the help that they need with these dogs, because there's a lot of stuff out there that we can do the drugs and all that don't seem to serve them real well. But these dogs seem to be the difference between life and death for a lot of them in a lot of ways. Because if they got hurt and couldn't get up, didn't have a dog to make somebody else aware that they're hurt, because these dogs will actually go find somebody if their master is down.
Sure.
There's just so many things that they do, in support of these veterans that without, 100% of them, that's what they say. The dog has made a difference in a good way in their life. So, we're going to the dogs. So, literally.
Good place to go, that is for sure. That's
Thank
just
you.
terrific. And thank you for what you're doing to help veterans and the Women's Club, Gulf Coast Women's Club. I stand corrected. I said Women's Club.
When you say thank you, we'll take it either way.
Understood. But I just think it's fabulous. And then getting together with American Legion Post 392, you picked a good one.
We are definitely proud that we were able. I spoke to the board, and when they honored my request, I was one happy girl.
Yep, and Pam Mathis, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention her. She is
Yes.
the president of the auxiliary there, and a formidable job, and she's doing it.
Yep.
So there you go. That's a good thing. And her staff. I don't want to forget anybody because they might
Absolutely.
beat me up, so.
You better run when you see them then.
Yeah, no, I love them and they know it. So
That's what I figured.
exactly. In any event, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to invite you to come back and do an after-action report. We call them AARs when the event is finished.
That would be delightful. Come back and brag on what the community's done to support
Yes,
this.
ma'am.
I'd
That
be
would
delighted. I would be
terrific.
delighted.
And so I'll stay in touch. I'll send you an email. I might rat you out and say what your email is so people could get in touch if they want. But I only remembered part of it. It's don't miss tall blonde diver
Yes, sir.
at
Hotmail.com.
hotmail.com. See, I should have known that. Tall. You do
Blonde.
it.
Blonde with a E. Diver, Diver, at hotmail.com.
I just loved that first time I saw it. I'm like, I thought, well, I hope she really is tall. So,
Pretty tall.
yeah.
Pretty tall.
So, but real quick, tell me, do you dive?
Yes, sir.
Wow, fabulous.
For about 35 years now.
And you mentioned your dad was World War II in the Navy, as was mine. What'd your dad do?
He was a ship's engineer. He was in the South Pacific, and most of the pictures, he was a real water boy, too. He had a Jack Russell Terrier that
great
was the
dogs.
ship's mascot and his dog. Pictures of all the officers up on deck in their whites, and my dad would be there in his swim trunks with the dog on his shoulder. And somebody on another ship actually took a picture of he and the dog diving into the Pacific Ocean that I treasure. I think it's just one of the cutest pictures I've ever seen, and it's, interesting to see your father when he's 30 years old, 27, whatever he was, less than 30 years old, out jumping off a ship with a dog. And it's like, okay, so, fathers always have that image of being very precise and proper. And
Invincible, too. We think they're invincible.
yeah, he was sort of a unique character on that ship, from what I hear.
Yeah, my dad was a character, too. I think that's how I got this warped
That's what's
personality.
wrong with us.
Yeah,
That's what's wrong with us.
Let's blame it on them. But my dad was a bubblehead. He was a submariner, and he was Pacific Theater as well. But,
And I have lots of friends that are Navy here that, through no association of my dad, but just some of the greatest people I met back through military affairs with the Chamber years ago that have stayed friends and branched out on that group too. So it's just a good place to be with all our military around here.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoy this. I've had a great time talking with Miss Lil Lewis, and I'm excited about what she's doing and her group is doing, and going to be a great time. American Legion Post 392, 535 Oak Avenue, Panama City, Florida. And if you need some more landmarks, by the old post office and the old Coca-Cola building, right catty corner from there.
Noon to 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Thank you.
Excuse me, and thank you. So you're coming back. That's what you
back.
promised me, right?
I'll be
All right.
back.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We're out of here.
From WKGC's Studio A on the campus of Gulf Coast State College, the Military Hour with your host, Carrie Dieter, on AM 1480, Southport, Panama City, Florida.